Good Saturday morning, Nashville. Weekend Huddle broadcasting from the Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville Studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership, where the buzz is always about great service. It is a great day in the city of Nashville today. A beautiful day, beautiful weather going on outside. We got a big game with massive impact on this city. Vanderbilt headed down to T-Town in Tuscaloosa to take on the Crimson Tide, as poor Nick Frazier's microphone has just broken.
It has broken off its neck, and I'm just like, what is going on over here? But we have a great day today. We have a lot of football today, Connor.
Yes, we do.
I mean, college football at its finest. Obviously, being a Mississippi State fan, probably going to lose to A&M today. But
don't worry. Kentucky plays Georgia today. The spread, 21.5.
Holy Christmas.
And I don't even think they cover.
Yeah, it doesn't. I wouldn't think so. But Vandy, they're all over the screens behind us, all over game day. I think
Isn't that cool?
It is neat to be in a small town, air quotes.
I'm not a Vanderbilt fan. You're not a Vanderbilt fan, but something about this team, I just kind of feel something for.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because we work directly with them. Maybe it's because I see the impact it has on the city. But this is the first time I could probably say in my lifetime that people have been more excited for a Vanderbilt football game than the Titans game.
Oh, absolutely.
And I think our show will reflect that today, as we will talk little to no Titans, because quite like you, I'm tired of it.
The only Titans you'll hear or see or whatever is my shirt. It just says keep calm and maybe tighten up. I'll put a maybe in
low T, tighten up.
The low T Titans.
I'm going to get fined for copyright infringement from Joe Rexroad on that one.
Shout out to Keith. He's the guy that said
I know. I saw the shirt just sitting there. Keith.
What a guy.
Oh, Keith sent you that shirt?
No. I'm saying Keith sent that to Joe.
Oh, I know.
So whoever Keith is, thanks for the
Thank you, Keith. We got a lot of ground to cover, Nick Frazier.
Indeed.
Breaking news from the Nashville Predators that came out at around 8 p.m. last night. I broke it on the Game Blitz, but hard to talk about the Predators on a high school football program. Luke Evangelista, the winger who has been holding out, restricted free agent, has finally signed his contract. It is a 2-year, $6 million deal. That's $3 million per year for people who can't do math like me. How much of an impact does that have on the opening night roster? I would expect him to be available, ready to go. I think, missing training camp probably did a little bit of hurt to him, but being available and being on this roster is ever important to me.
Yeah, and I believe Andrew Burnett spoke with Alex Doherty at one of the practices last week, and he was asked about asked about Luke Evangelista.
Andrew Burnett was asked by Andrew Burnett.
He was asked about Luke Evangelista, and he said that we miss him and stuff like that, but you got to keep on going and prepare for the opening night. And I think for the Preds, how much of a factor does it put in onto the roster? I'd say a little bit. I think this team has a different presence when it comes to opening up the season this year. I don't think if you miss, let's just use it for example. Say if Evangelista was injured or something, and he's not playing. I think it has that same weight to it. I don't think he's much of a loss in some aspects. Don't get me wrong; he's a key player.
Yeah,
don't get me wrong. But I'm just saying, if they had to go without him for the first 5 games of the season, I think they'd be okay.
I think what you're saying is they have the youth to back him up.
Correct.
Ozzy Weisblatt, Zach LaRue, who just got sent down to Milwaukee. I think in correspondence to this move, I think yesterday morning, the Predators front office knew they were about to get a deal done with good old Luke Evangelista, Pretty Boy Vincenzo, and decided, LaRue, I think, can afford to go down to Milwaukee. The other thing I think play a factor into this, LaRue doesn't require to clear waivers to go back to Milwaukee. He can just be sent down. The other guy that was in competition for him, Ozzy Weisblatt, does. So if he gets, waived by the team, any other team in the NHL has the opportunity to claim him, and he's gone from your franchise just like that. So I think that played a factor into that. Am I disappointed in the fact that Zach LaRue is not going to be on the opening night roster this year for the Predators? Absolutely. I love Zach LaRue. I think he's a key piece for the future. However, I understand it. In correspondence with this move, Luke Evangelista signing I wouldn't say long-term deal, but extending his tenure here in Nashville, plus the addition of Ozzy Weisblatt. Plus, I think there's a chance that a young guy has just locked himself up a spot, at least for a little bit, on the opening night roster. And that's your number 5 overall pick in Brady Martin. We talked to Jake Lyman and I yesterday, talked to Max Hers, who has all the ins and outs on the team. basically, Brady Martin is playing top line right now with Philip Forsberg and Ryan O'Reilly. I can't think of two better guys on this team for Brady Martin to learn from than those two guys.
Yeah, I mean, you got a guy like the Factor and Ryan O'Reilly, Mr. Engine that could. He just doesn't stop.
The fact daddy.
The fact daddy, exactly. And then you got a guy like Philip Forsberg who just finds any piece of ice that's wide open.
Which I want
capitalize.
I want compensation for that nickname because I've been calling him that since like 2012.
Okay, there you go, ladies and gentlemen, right there. Connor Newt is the one that put out Forsberg.
I've done it. I'm the one that did it, and then everyone took off with it, and it's because of me. Probably not actually. It probably came from someone within the organization,
But no, you're right though. Putting Brady Martin in that top line and what Max was saying, and to your point about it, it's great. And you mentioned, and I will keep reiterating this because you are spot on with this analysis. Andrew Burnett pairing a young guy with two vets, if that works out, the line pairings later on in the season could be tremendous.
To strengthen that argument, do you know what the second line is?
Ooh, does it involve Juuso Parssinen? No, I'm sorry.
He is no longer here.
Not Juuso Parssinen. What's his name? Oh my goodness.
Joachim Kimmel?
Svechkov.
Yes, it does.
Thank you, Svechkov.
It is Fedor Svechkov at center, and then on the wings, Joachim Kimmel and Steven Stamkos.
Interesting.
So it's kind of a flip-flop of what I've been talking about. It is a vet with two young guys, but I think the outcome will still be the same. You're still getting veteran presence on a line with some young talent, and I think that's beneficiary to the system that the Predators are running.
It's like an inverted Oreo.
cream on the outside, cookie on the inside.
Yeah, like the rookies are the soft ones, and then you have the vets that are the tough ones, the grit.
Yeah.
So then it's like, vice versa. I don't know. That's how my brain works. We're
It's always food with you, Frazier, isn't it?
It is. I told Chase and Joe yesterday, 99% of my day is revolved around food. 1% dialed in.
There's a reason you have a side hustle.
There you go.
Nico's Pizza, baby. When's the next Nico's event? Free advertisement for you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Private event on Halloween on the 31st.
Oh, yeah.
I may have two markets coming up, maybe one. I think more likely one sometime in the middle of October.
You're going to show up if game day comes here, assuming Vanderbilt wins today and LSU wins out. Game day has a good chance to come here. You're going to be the guy that's bringing pizzas to Pat McAfee and the crew.
I'll make V-shaped pizzas. That's what I'll do. It's pretty easy. All you got to do is just make one giant slice, cut the outsides, and there you go.
Shapes are easy.
Yeah, shapes. Sizes are a little different, but shapes are easy.
Does size matter?
In some aspects.
In pizza, that is?
Yes. A 20-inch, 16-inch pizza? Yeah, it's worth it.
Good Lord, this is a family program.
Just saying.
On the Preds, I mean, we've kind of talked about the impact Luke Evangelista has. Do you think that him missing pretty much all of training camp is going to play a negative factor in his return?
As for chemistry with the lines, I think a little bit. I mean, he's known all these guys for quite some time now,
right?
But I think there's a little bit. Normally, when there's a player that kind of holds out for something like this, there are players on the team that, they're all in group chats, so they're probably all sticking together for the most part.
They're all under the age of 25 too. So
so they're all staying connected via social media or whatever it is. But I just think there's gonna be a little bit of a hiccup when he comes back. Just my assumption, because when you miss training camp like this in a pivotal season for the Preds, that you could probably say if it doesn't pan out, things are going to look a little odd. But this is a point where Evangelista has to prove himself.
Yes.
I think when it comes to the contract itself, you look at how Barry Trotz explained it on Chase and Big Joe a couple of weeks ago when they were out at Ford Ice Center. And he mentioned, we're on terms for a 2-year deal. It's just the money we're a bit off.
Yep.
And to me, when I heard money's a bit off, it was more of Barry Trotz is probably trying to talk down Evangelista, saying, hey, it's come to Jesus moment. You're not a 30-goal scorer, okay? You are a pivotal player on this team. You need to be a player that can prove his worth.
I'm not sure they wanted to pay him $6 million over 2 years.
I mean,
it might be a little high for a guy like him.
A little high. I was just having this conversation with a family friend the other day. I was thinking, maybe Evangelista was asking for somewhere in the 7s or 8s, maybe like that, because there's no reason. Because, when you negotiate, you kind of go super high and then the other person meets you low
ball.
I'm thinking they met somewhere in the middle. And I think maybe 6 for 2 years, 3 AAV. Because if I'm Evangelista, I'm probably asking for 5 a year.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
And then you meet in the
2-year,
middle.
$10 million deal.
Yeah. And then so now you're meeting at the middle at 6, and then you're right at 3 AAV.
Yeah.
So I think that's what really happened. And I have no inside knowledge. That's just my assumption.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think it was a long process to meet in the middle, but ultimately they got it done, and that's a good thing. 615-737-1025 is our phone number if you want to give us your thoughts on the Predators as the season, they drop the puck next Thursday. There's a preseason game tonight. Pregame will start right here on 1025 The Game at 2 p.m. with Max Hers. And, of course, Pete and Jay on the call. Our phone and text lines driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Again, 615-737-1025. We got a loaded show for you today. At 9:30, our good friend Jacob Underwood from Prep Weekly High School Football, the show on 94.9 The Fan. He's going to join us to talk a little bit of high school football and some Vanderbilt and Alabama. Of course, the Frazier Files at 9:45 a.m. as Nick Frazier attempts to persuade me on Nashville SC's trophy and how it's relevant.
I got a surprise for you, too, in the Frazier Files.
Oh.
So just be ready for it.
I like surprises. And we also need your preview of your Brisbane Broncos playing at 3 a.m. tonight.
You got it.
And, of course, at 10:45, the return of Where Are They Now? Duels. Nick Frazier and I will go head-to-head to round out the show. But coming up next, I want to talk a little bit about Brady Martin. Is he for sure a lock to make the Predators opening night roster? We'll discuss that next here on the Weekend Huddle. Nick Frazier, Connor Newt here with you on 1025 The Game.
just trying too hard, when really it's closer than it is too far.
Tune into 1025 The Game Nashville app, or theGameNashville.com for NASCAR coverage of the Bank of America Roval 400 race tomorrow at 2 p.m. Coverage presented by Michael Waltrip Signature Floor, located inside of Hank Williams Jr. Boogie Bar in downtown Nashville. Welcome back in Weekend Huddle here on this Saturday morning on 1025 The Game. Connor Newt, Nick Frazier with you, talking a little bit of Nashville Predators hockey. So I posed the question to you, Nick Frazier. Also, real quick, before we get into that, let me mention that our weekend poll will be at 10 a.m. today. We have put the poll out there on Twitter. You have about 30 more minutes to vote. If Vanderbilt beats Alabama today, is Diego Pavia a Heisman favorite? Bit of a spicy question for you.
Tantalizing.
And I'm loving the votes. Again, you can go vote. It is on our Twitter right now. We will react to the results here in about 45 minutes. But let's get back into the Preds. With the moves that we have seen now, Luke Evangelista, of course, re-signing with the Predators on a 2-year, $6 million deal. Zach LaRue being sent back down to Milwaukee. Ozzy Weisblatt has made the roster. Looks like Joakim Kimmel is going to make the roster for opening night. All this to say, do we think that the 5th overall pick in the 2025 NHL draft by the Nashville Predators, center Brady Martin, is a lock to make the opening night roster?
I'd say yes, because of the reason of Evangelista not being here. Again, this is assumption. I think the chemistry that Brady Martin has built throughout training camp, I think he's matured pretty quick as a pro.
Yeah.
Like, I love how Andrew Burnett and Andrew Burnett and Barry Trotz. Why am I having a stroke? What's going on here?
It's a loaded day. We got a lot of ground to cover today.
Indeed. But no, those two, they have harped and chirped about how you can overbake players in the minors, and it's okay.
Yep.
For Brady Martin, if you do that, that's fine. But I think he can contribute to this roster now. And I think a lot of Preds fans would be pretty happy with that, primarily because after seeing guys like Connor McDavid, who were an immediate success to their teams, you look at Brady Martin and say, he's a little bit of a rookie size, but he can still contribute.
Here's the thing. Upon talking to people who cover that organization and some people with inside that organization, they love Brady Martin. Like, he is their future. They are putting all their chips in the middle on him. So here's what I think is going to happen. I think he's going to make this opening night roster. Mm-hmm. I think they're going to see how much he can contribute through 9 games. You know why? Because NHL fresh out of draft rookies can play a total of 9 NHL games before they have to burn a year on their entry-level contract.
Right.
That saying, if he is contributing through 9 games, I tend to think, we'll burn the year. If he's going to contribute the level that he's contributing, burn the year. Because we think he can develop with Forsberg on his right and Ryan O'Reilly on his left, and he'll be right in the middle. Now, O'Reilly's going to take most of the draws on the faceoffs, but those 3, that line, I think can do some damage in the NHL. If he's not to the level you think he is at less than 19 years old in his debut in the NHL, then send him back to juniors and you have absolutely nothing to lose.
Yeah, it's a win-win situation.
It is a win-win situation. You have nothing to lose here. So that's what I think is going to happen.
Yeah, and that's a valid observation, because you still have other young guys on the roster that can still contribute. And like, again, having Brady Martin on the opening night roster, I think would be a massive check mark, green check mark, because he's already at 2 goals in the preseason?
Yeah.
I mean,
both coming in the second period of a game.
So is he second period Brady Martin? Is that what we're going to call him? Or?
Second period Brady.
All right. Second period Brady. Or 2
PB.
2 PB.
Dude, that's going to be better than catch the strep.
Yeah. 2 PB.
Oh my God. We started something.
2B Brady Martin.
Now I'm in love with him.
Okay.
In a non-romantic way.
We'll have to get him on just so we can clear this up in the air. But no.
Hello, Brady.
I do think, not trying to deviate from Brady Martin's conversation here, but I do think the Matthew Wood lower body injury plays a little factor
Yeah,
into this
that's a
stuff
good point.
because Matthew Wood and him were having a pretty good preseason together. And nonetheless, like, do I think that they'd be playing together? Not on the same line, maybe. I don't know. Because
Yeah, but
when you get to the point of, like, you're talking about veterans and young guys mixing them together, I think then that's where Brunette's going to start mixing around things. To me, it's hard to dictate the preseason for talent purposes. Like, you have talent on guys and rosters, right? And lines. But when you're going up against other teams like Florida, who didn't really play as many guys,
yeah,
you're trying to figure out, well,
they played an ECHL team.
yeah, like what's the true gauge of talent we got here? Like, can they really compete at the top level? So, from what I've seen in the preseason from Brady Martin, I think he is a guy that can contribute opening night. Now, to your point about the 9 games, if they do that, then genius. Good for the Preds.
Yeah, you got nothing to lose.
Exactly. And I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Connor, but if they make the postseason and the playoffs, we'll drop there.
Yeah,
If they make the playoffs, that doesn't go against his.
no,
Okay.
it does not.
So
I would equate this to, in college sports, a red shirt.
right.
They can play, I think it's a maximum of 4 games before you burn the red shirt.
Right. In college.
In college.
Yeah.
So I would equate that to this on some level. Obviously, this is professional hockey. It's a lot different than college sports, but it is similar in that you have nothing to lose on either end. So I am in favor of it. I wouldn't be mad either way if he's contributing through 9 games and he's producing and he's got a nice little point streak going, then I wouldn't be opposed to burning a year on his entry-level contract. If he's not to the level you think he's at or he's supposed to be at, then send him back down to juniors. Let him marinate there. And to your point, Brunette and Trotz are not afraid to overcook a guy in the minors. If you think this guy is your future and your future franchise player to the level of a Connor McDavid or a Connor Bedard or what have you, then you will do everything in your power to make sure he develops. And I think that point plays a heavy factor into it.
And another point you mentioned on top of that, I'd say to counter to it, I hope the Preds understand now that this is the win now window.
Yep.
Because let's say Brady Martin has a really good first 7 games. He's on let's just put it out there, a 7-game point streak, right? Well,
you just threw that out in the ether.
Just threw it out there in the ether. Say that does happen. The Preds in the past, if let's say a rookie is having a good first couple games and they know, well, we don't want to burn a year off of his rookie entry contract. We don't want to do that. So they put him down. So then when you put him down, guess what? That burns the momentum. And you're trying to figure out, well, if we're doing good, we got to keep him up. That's my issue. Is like,
that's a locker room thing.
Yeah, but like I get the whole point of overcooking guys in the minors. It's a great thing. But if you got young guys that can contribute now, take the chance and burn a year off the contract.
I agree.
Look, I don't want to say I'm sick and tired of waiting because sometimes I'm an impatient guy. I can't help it. But if you got
say as you're wearing a Titans shirt.
I know. if you have something, capitalize on it, man. Capitalize on it. That is exactly what a lot of teams nowadays, and I think the Preds have handled this properly because the whole point of getting the minors and getting all these guys overcooked, that sets them up for the future. I get all that.
Yeah.
But now you actually have a top draft pick, a top 5 draft pick that can contribute now. Do it. Burn it.
Yeah.
Have them work.
Let me play devil's advocate here.
Sure.
What if he goes out there and plays like a rookie and looks, scared, doesn't contribute as much, but you don't want to mess up the chemistry you have on your front line? Let's say Forsberg and O'Reilly are playing well together.
Yeah.
And Brady Martin's kind of the gel holding that line together despite not being in the points column. Do you still keep him up?
I would say yes. Because if you have your 2 top guys in Forsberg and O'Reilly that are still contributing and at the level they're playing at in their careers, by all means, do it. Because guess what? Brady Martin, as a youngster, is going to compensate for the open ice that those guys are not covering and or just certain aspects of the game that they can't really do much anymore. Brady Martin will do that, and it won't show up in the box score of the stat sheets.
Yeah.
So I think that's something you have to put into factor as well, and not Ryan O'Reilly factor, but that's something you have to put into is that if Brady Martin's still contributing, if it's not even in the point column, you have to at least keep him out there. And nonetheless, like if the Preds still want to go 9 games and they say, hey, he's not really ready, that's fine. Bring him down.
I won't be mad at you.
I won't be mad at all. But if you do that, somebody's got to step up
Yep.
immediately.
Or you got to call someone up that is originally sent down,
Exactly.
like a Zach LaRue.
Mm-hmm.
Joakim Kimmel needs to step up. Ozzy Weisblatt. Luke Evangelista, who is
Yeah.
back now. That's actually the number one guy that comes to mind for me.
It's
Luke
a prove-it deal for Evangelista.
Yeah.
So he better step it up, man.
I mean, if he does not, he's going to end up just like the guys before him that were young, brought back on smaller yearly contracts like Phil Tomasino, Yuso Parson, and Tommy Novak, guys like that. You're going to end up on another team.
Yeah. And just side note to the whole Evangelista thing we were talking about last segment, Alex Doherty put out there on his Twitter, said, according to Puckpedia, Evangelista's contract carries a $2.25 million cap hit in 25-26 season, then a $3.75 million cap hit in the 26-27 season.
Oh,
So
okay.
interesting.
So it escalates.
Yeah.
That proves your point even more. Step up or ship out.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't get things together and you don't look like the player that they're paying you to be, you're not going to be here very long, especially since you're a player that the current GM did not draft.
Mm-hmm.
So I think you got to keep that in mind. 615-737-1025 is our phone number if you want to text or call your thoughts on Brady Martin being a lock to make the Nashville Predators opening night roster. Weekend Huddle brought to you by LPL Financial Nashville and Patrick Conger. Financial planning for tomorrow so that you can enjoy today. When we come back, we will welcome in our good friend Jacob Underwood to talk a little high school sports and a little bit of Vanderbilt, Alabama. That's up next here on the Weekend Huddle. Connor Newt, Nick Frazier with you on 102.5 The Game. Wondering where to go to watch NFL games tomorrow? Come to Twin Peaks in Madison, home of the 29-degree beer, and join 102.5 The Game for the pregame show before the Titans take on the Cardinals. Pregame show brought to you by Parman Tractor and Equipment. Old National Bank, Circa Sportsbook Kentucky, and Tennessee Brew Works. Welcome back in Weekend Huddle here on 102.5 The Game. Connor Newt, Nick Frazier with you, and it was a fun night last night. Week 7 of high school football in Middle Tennessee. Here to talk about that with us is our good friend Jacob Underwood from Prep Weekly over on 94.9 The Fan. Mondays also does a little bit of work with Vanderbilt covering them. Jacob, what's up?
Good morning, guys. Happy to be with you.
Happy to have you. Sorry we missed you last night, but happy you made the time for us today, and excited to talk a little bit of high school football with you. So I want to start with a big game that occurred last night. We were just talking about it a little bit off the air. CPA takes down NBA 16-15. A big win for the Lions, as their season has not gone exactly the way they would have hoped. What does a win like that over a good team like NBA do for CPA in the long run?
Well, it does a lot, to say it in one word. But I have a feeling, guys, that if you had talked to Engel Martin, head coach at CPA, before the season, if he was being very honest with you, he would have told you there's a chance that we start 1-5. And that's not a reflection of his football team or the quality of his quarterback play or offensive line or defense or anything. It is purely the schedule that they played this season. They've played 7 games now, and I would say of their first 6, probably 4 of those opponents, if not 5, will play for state championships this year. I mean, we're talking one of the toughest schedules in the state. Of course, we all know CPA having to move up in classification has given them a tougher schedule, having to play the Baylors, the NBA being a region game now, having to play the McCallies. But it's also put them into a situation where they struggle to get non-region games. So you play Oakland to open the season. You follow that up with Pearl Cone, 2 out-of-state opponents at the 1st of September. So that's a long way of saying, guys, the CPA schedule has just been incredibly challenging. And I would question, when's the last time anybody on that CPA football team was 1-5 at anything, any sport at any point in their entire life? They're not used to that type of record. So what it tells me is beating NBA shows the confidence is still there. The belief is still there that everything they want to achieve this season, they still believe that potential is in front of them. And it's going to start this coming Friday with that game against Innsworth. You're 1-1 inside of region play. Going to have a really good shot against Knoxville Catholic on October 24. So if they can beat Innsworth, there's still a chance for them to finish no worse than 2 or 3 inside of that region. And at that point, that would put them in a pretty solid spot inside the playoff bracket. So again, I think CPA, their schedule is the reason why they are 2-5. It is not a reflection of the quality of that football team.
Let me send it to a question in CPA's old region. I want to ask you about FRA. They have been rather impressive this season, undefeated on the year, but just played their last home game last night against Good Pasture. They are on the road next week at Antioch, then have the bye week, then go to Grace Christian and Columbia Academy. Ultimately, it seems like we're going to see another meeting between BGA and FRA later down the line in the playoffs. What does FRA need to do to sustain this momentum?
So I'll tell you, really interesting. It was pretty quiet at halftime of that BGA game. They switched quarterbacks, and I didn't know if it was just to get a spark or, they just needed to get a different look schematically, kind of what was happening there. But they went to sophomore Jack Nimitz, and he led. They were down 14-0 at halftime in the BGA game. He led all 3 scoring drives and was everything that the offense needed that night. And then follow that up with the Good Pasture game. Jack was the starter at quarterback once again. I think he threw for 5 touchdown passes. And we saw maybe the best offensive performance from FRA that we've seen all season. And so that's what's really grabbed my attention right now. They have a lot of talent. They have 2 really good running backs. Of course, there's Amari Sanders, the top prospect, just a junior that's got college offers from dozens of high-profile programs. But I think what we've seen here from FRA is they've continued to get better. They're probably going to be playing for a state championship. They can't think that way, but as you said, we in the media, we can kind of look forward and forecast what might be happening. They're a really good football team. That rematch against BGA, if it does happen, would be very fascinating because In the time that Bobby Bentley has been at BGA, I think what FRA did against them is really the first time we've seen him struggle to find anything offensively. Didn't matter what play they called. FRA was always a step ahead. If there is to be a rematch, I'll be really interested to see what those two game plans look like. We'll have about 2 months to talk about that one, but it would be a really exciting rematch. Excuse me, because those are two really good football teams, two well-coached football teams, and it would be quite fascinating to see what the coaches come up with if that happens.
Talking with Jacob Underwood here on the Weekend Huddle. Jacob, kind of going out to Chattanooga area between McCallie and Baylor, the 5-star running back David Gabriel Georges had a crazy night last night. I think it was 3 touchdowns on the ground, 293 yards rushing. He played CPA, I believe it was last week. Just what have you seen out of this kid for him only being a junior? And he seems like he's already ready to go play at the college level.
I'm sure you guys have seen all of the highlights. I'm sure just about everybody listening at this point has seen the highlights, because that was the conversation on social media last night. I'm going to be honest. That was actually the game that I made a priority. Rather than going somewhere, I decided I was going to watch a couple games online simultaneously and wanted to focus on that Baylor-McCallie game, because we have thought those are the top 2 teams in the state, regardless of classification. Obviously, there's the boarding school conversation, all of that. Let's put that aside. As you asked about last night, I have heard it said that David Gabriel George is one of the best high school running backs that a lot of people have seen. And I can say after last night and after seeing him against CPA as well, and seeing him last season, that is not hyperbole. You know, if you talk to somebody, let's go back over a decade when Derrick Henry's in high school, and they start talking about this kid, Derrick Henry, never seen anybody like him, you'd be like, yeah, I'm sure he's really good. But I mean, we say this a lot, right? We hype the next. But if you see those 3 touchdown runs that he had last night, the acceleration, the burst, the ability to go right up the middle where the safety has, you know, the perfect line to make the tackle, and he just accelerates and is quicker to the point than the safety or the linebacker. And it's not just one run, but it's on all 3 of those touchdown runs, breaking tackles, even if he's getting his face mask pulled. At one point, there was a run that he had that didn't count because there was an offensive holding, but they had to tackle him by his hair, or he was going to have about a 70-yard touchdown run. He is just that explosive and that different from any high school running back. You know, you could talk about a Jalen Hurd. Many in the mid-state saw him some 12 years ago or so. But Jalen was a big, physical, strong running back. He was not like what this young man is, just an elite electric player that, guys, I haven't seen anything like him, especially inside the state of Tennessee at the running back position in a number of years. So if you haven't seen the highlights, folks, it is worth it. And wherever he goes, he's going to be a day one game changer at a college football program. There's a reason why the conversations around how much he's going to be getting paid are happening. Is because he's that good.
Kind of sticking along the lines of high school football, back to CPA, you talked about their schedule. Obviously, they played the number 1 team in Mississippi, played the number 1 team in, I believe, Ohio, and just obviously playing Oakland, number 1 team in their area as well, out in Murfreesboro. Just to me, you mentioned that it kind of helps shape CPA going forward. What do you know any background on the making of this schedule? Like, what was Ingle Martin thinking? Like, to me, I just can't wrap my head around it.
So you can get some fascinating stories when it comes to the schedule making process. We could probably do an hour on that one, get some coaches to come have a little bit of a roundtable with you. How about I'll tell you this story. If you go back to the 23-24 scheduling making process. So if folks don't know, the schedule is made for 25 and 26, and you're working on that schedule in 2024, trying to have it finalized before Christmas of the next 2 upcoming years. So if you go back to the last cycle of this, Ravenwood was having a hard time finding a week 1 game. Will Hester was the head coach at Ravenwood at that time, and he got a text from an 865 phone number, and he didn't even know who it was, but they were asking, do you want to play August 20 or 21, whatever the dates were? And Will Hester, without hesitation, said, I need a game, so yes, I'll do it. Turns out it was Alcoa who was asking if he wanted to play. And as he jokingly said, I'm not sure if I would have agreed had I known that, but I really needed a week 1 game. If you are a CPA or an Oakland or Ravenwood or an Alcoa, it is tough to find teams that will play you. You referenced CPA playing 2 out-of-state opponents. That's a pretty common practice for a lot of the high-profile programs because most teams know we cannot beat them. And furthermore, it would be a physical mismatch for us. We do not want to take that risk of injury, of getting beat up before our important region games. And so it is a challenge. Most teams simply will not answer that call. That's why I give a lot of credit to a program like Pearl Cone. You look at what they did playing NBA, CPA, BGA, Oakland. That's as tough as it gets. And Pearl Cone is not afraid of the competition. They want to win a state championship, and they take the challenge as serious as they possibly can. But we could sit here, guys, actually and have a conversation about the programs that probably should have scheduled tougher, and it may hurt them come playoff time that they didn't. But for CPA and for Ingle Martin, the schedule was a challenge, just simply finding teams that would agree to play. And that's the reason why they had to go out of state twice.
Talking to Jacob Underwood of Prep Weekly over on 94.9 The Fan. Also does some work covering Vanderbilt football. So we'll flip it over to Vanderbilt football as we let him go after this question, of course. Jacob, massive game for Vanderbilt today. They head down to T-Town to take on Alabama. And I think the key to victory for them is, what does Diego Pavia look like? If Diego Pavia plays a clean game and ultimately takes down Alabama, what does that do for his Heisman hopes?
No, that's a really interesting way to phrase the question. You are correct, because we're all just assuming that Diego Pavia will be Superman, because as long as he's been healthy for the last 2 seasons, he's put up impressive performance after impressive performance. He does have to play within himself. He cannot make any of those critical mistakes trying to Patrick Mahomes something that he should just eat the sack. So you're right about that. That's a good point. But I think what we've seen, the Vanderbilt offense is probably not getting enough attention, and it's getting a lot. But if you have been here for 20, 30, 40, 50 years and followed the Vanderbilt program, the fact that they are averaging 50 points a game is unfathomable. We're talking about an offense that would be lucky to break 21 in a lot of previous seasons. As good as offense has been played anywhere in the country, and you look at how they execute on first down, averaging almost 8 yards per play. They're rarely getting into third down situations because they're picking up first downs on first or second down, always staying ahead of the chains, the way that they control the clock and the time of possession. That's what they did last year against Alabama. If they can control the game in that way and have those long, time-consuming possessions, if they can hit a couple of big plays. Last year was not a fluke statistically. They won that football game. It's going to be harder on the road this year. We all know that. But if they can do the things that they have been doing, as long as Pavia is healthy, not turn the football over, they're really going to have a chance. This is not just hype that we're talking about. Vanderbilt football, the team, it's been really good this season.
Well, Jacob, we've had a blast. It's been a lot of fun. You've been absolutely awesome to come on and talk a little bit of high school sports and, of course, Vanderbilt football with us. Thanks for doing this, and we'll hear from you very, very soon. I promise you that.
Look forward to it. Thank you, guys.
Jacob Underwood of Prep Weekly over on 94.9 The Fan. You can hear that show Mondays at 6 p.m. Also, make sure to follow him on Twitter. Check out his work. He covers Vanderbilt. He covers high school sports. He is, in fact, Superman. Coming up next, it is the Frazier Files. Nick Frazier is going to attempt to persuade me on why this U.S. Open Championship for Nashville SC is, in fact, a professional trophy. That's coming up next here on the Weekend Huddle. Connor Newt, Nick Frazier here with you on 102.5 The Game. The file cabinet is open. It's time for the Frazier Files. But before that, let me tell you, tomorrow's NFL game of the week is the Cowboys versus the Jets at noon on Sports Talk 830. NFL game of the week presented by Circa Sportsbook, Kentucky, and Macero in 12 South. Nick Frazier, open the case. Take it away.
Thank you very much. The case is wide open. We are currently investigating why people don't understand the U.S. Open Cup is
Namely
not
me.
Well, not you. Adam Vingens and there was. We had a nice conversation yesterday to open up the DVD show. So it got cleared up for the most part. Nashville SC winning, I believe it was Wednesday night over Austin FC 2-1 in the U.S. Open Cup Championship. For those that do not understand soccer, any championship is worth celebrating, obviously, for any sport. But for soccer, the landscape's a little different. Every league in the world of soccer and sports, you have a domestic cup. You have your Continent Cup, which is kind of like for Nashville SC, it'd be the CONCACAF Champions Cup, which is the Champions League in some aspects. Like I'll use Europe as a prime example first and then compare it to the US because that's kind of how everything evolved. It goes domestic cup in whatever country you're playing in, your league you're playing in. So you play for that trophy. Your, I guess for Nashville SC, it'd be the Community Shield. So the best record, kind of like President's Trophy.
President's Trophy. Yeah.
Some I guess leagues celebrate that in Europe. Then you have your CONCACAF Champions League, or not CONCACAF, the UEFA Champions League, excuse me. The most prestigious league for tournaments that is in all of Europe, because that's where the best soccer is, in my opinion. So you have those four.
I would agree because I've sat down and watched that.
It's impressive.
It is fun. That and the World Cup.
Yeah.
That's the only time I can really get into soccer.
Right.
I'll preface this by saying I'm not a soccer guy.
That's fine.
Just not for me. But I know a lot of people appreciate it. Look, I love Nashville SC. I've been out there. I've been in that supporters section. They've yelled at me for not cheering loud enough. But it's a fun time. It's an environment unlike any other I've ever been in. So I'm beyond thrilled that they brought home some hardware. I think my confusion just lies with where does it rank in the history of this city? Because a lot of fans are claiming this is the first ever professional championship in Nashville city history. And I'm like,
and they're also saying the state of Tennessee. And I'm like, hold your britches here. Like,
I mean, not on the same level, of course, but the Titans have brought home an AFC championship.
Correct.
The Predators have been Western Conference champions before. I maybe not a direct comparison, but to me, they haven't won the actual league that they've been in, and that's
right.
Major League Soccer. That's where my confusion is.
And I think that's more, I'm just going to put it out there, American culture of sports. That's just how it is. The world of soccer is a little different. If you're in a tournament, and this is, again, we've everybody on this station that's talked about Nashville SC that tries to compare it to understanding like what this compares to. Some people have said it's like the NBA in-league tournament. It's kind of like that. But see, the U.S. Open Cup, it has all the top professional leagues in this tournament. So you're playing teams that are at a lower division, and it's kind of hard to dictate how do you really compare it. It's kind of its own entity in a roundabout way. And obviously the U.S. Open Cup has seen some things in the past couple of years of like, how does this tournament continue to survive? Because it's the oldest, trophy in all of North America when it comes to soccer. So it's a tough thing to put into to aspect like that. But to the point of dictating it as the first championship in Nashville sports history, there is a competitive argument for that because it came in a tournament. It was, not in a league. I get all that, but it is a sanctioned tournament to where you can qualify it as a professional sports team. Like that's the only way I can really describe it. Like it's a tough argument to really back in some aspects, but on paper, yeah, it is a championship that you have to kind of recognize.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hardware. Like it is a actual cup. Now they have to defend it. And because they won the US Open Cup, they now qualify for, I believe, Leagues Cup next year.
Okay.
And maybe CONCACAF Champions League. I'll
so
have to double check on that.
Positive results.
Right.
By winning this.
With winning the US Open Cup, it now qualifies you for other tournaments in the United States and also the CONCACAF. So
okay.
that's something to put, into terms as well. But when it comes to being a really good soccer team, and I think Nashville SC fans have to realize this, not SC fans, but people that are average soccer fans that don't know much about the world of soccer, I'm not including you in there because you do know a lot about soccer. I'm not including you.
I know.
I'm just saying.
I know the ins and outs of the game.
I'm talking about
Like I know the rules.
Right.
I just don't understand how leagues work.
Right.
Stuff like that.
So there's a thing they call it a double and a triple,
Mhm.
and sometimes you win 4 trophies. That's beyond unheard of. But a treble is when you win 3 trophies in one season. So for Nashville, they had the opportunity to do that. I'd call it a domestic treble
Mhm.
because you have the best record in MLS, which is the Community Shield. You win the MLS League, and then you win the U.S. Open Cup. For them, that would have been a treble. That would have been a domestic treble. Now that they are out of the equation of winning the Supporters Shield because they can't catch up to Philadelphia and whoever else is at the top, you now are only able to win a double, which would be U.S. Open Cup and the MLS championship. So for me, I look at winning a double under BJ Callahan in the first season as a massive success, to the point where he has accelerated the process of, oh, we're not just rebuilding now. We're actually in a win now window with a lot of young talent. And I think that only bodes well for Nashville going forward. You can't look at any negatives on this team because sure, you have a few injuries here and there, but this team's hitting on all cylinders. I think what BJ Callahan has done, we talked to him yesterday on the Chase and Big Joe show.
I listened. He was fantastic.
Yeah, he expressed a lot of things, and I even asked him about ripping off the Band-Aid when it came to joining Nashville SC, and he had a great answer for it, that, you know, we're here to develop the youth, and yeah, sure, we have some veteran players, but we're here on a youth movement, and we want to make sure this is here for the long haul, essentially just wrapping it up in a summarized answer from there. But he did a really good job explaining that, and I think Nashville, there's a lot of things that NSC fans and also just average soccer fans just don't realize, that this team has been doing a lot of great things for the city. The fact that you can go to a game for free if you're it was like I think back in July you could go to a game for free, and I mean if you show your license, that's crazy. To go to a soccer game for free in the city of Nashville, a booming city, that's crazy.
Yeah.
And the fact too is that they're now going to be celebrating a championship tomorrow after, I think, halftime of the Titans game, when it's probably 50-0.
I wish I could be there. I should have RSVP'd.
I mean, you can.
I will be here working, but
I'll take pictures for you.
Send Mr. Walker Zimmerman my congratulations.
Will do. But to your original point, and to kind of open this all up, is that yes, this is a professional championship. Nashville SC won, and people should be celebrating it, which, as they should. But to the point of people saying, oh, it's not the first ever championship, I see where the argument is to be had. And I'm in the camp of, I don't think they're NSC is the first ones to win a true pro championship. Well, in that aspect, yes, they are. But I look at the AFC championship. I look at Western Conference final champions. I look at that as a championship to me.
Yeah.
But if you don't win the big one, I get where some people are saying, and again, that's American culture. Okay. That's just American culture. If you don't win your league, you don't win anything.
Indeed. Before we head to the break, there's a big championship to be played tonight at approximately 3 a.m.
3 a.m. on a Sunday, boys. It's the Brisbane Broncos versus the Melbourne Storm. My Brisbane Broncos, who I've been a fan of since 2020, since COVID had happened. I was working overnight shifts here. That's what kept me
long tenured fan. Lifelong fan.
I am. And the fact they bring in Reese Walsh back in 2022-ish, 2021, he has now become a really good fullback for this team. They have Payne Haas, who is a really good player. Pat Carragher's back from suspension. Dean Mariner is another winger that has really come into form for the Broncos. I'm a Brisbane Broncos fan. I can't help it. But look at the Melbourne Storm. They get Jerome Hughes back from a broken arm. Looked really good last week in the preliminary round to go into the grand final. So this is going to be an absolute dogfight at 3:05 in the morning on a Sunday.
And you're going to be up.
I will be up. I texted my brother and called him last night. You were coming over at 3:05. I will make you breakfast on the Blackstone, and we're going to get up and watch this game.
So what's bedtime tonight?
Bedtime probably be around 10 o'clock, 11.
Wow, you're bold.
Yeah. Because I got some stuff going on tonight. So
it's like Christmas. You're just not going to be able to sleep.
I'm excited. I'm giddy. I'm really giddy because this is the Brisbane Broncos. It's something I get to enjoy because the Cardinals stink.
Yep.
The Titans stink.
Yep.
Preds are on the come up.
Yep.
NSC won. You can celebrate that a little bit.
Celebrate that.
But the Brisbane Broncos, this is the closest thing I have to NFL football right now, and I am so excited about it. Like the fact that I've gone to Vegas 2 years in a row, the last 2 years, to go see. Year one was the Brisbane Broncos. They lost, unfortunately, to the not the Sharks, but the Roosters, the Sydney Roosters.
Oh, I may have to switch to the Sydney Rooster.
You'd like that team.
That's a great name.
But then I go back in year two to watch my brother's Warriors team lose. I mean, it's just a good thing. The fact that we stopped the dynasty of the Penrith Panthers winning their 5th consecutive grand final, I'm fine with that. So 4 years for me is good. Tom Brady of rugby and Nathan Cleary is not in the championship. That's all that matters. The Brisbane Broncos, ladies and gentlemen, that is my prediction for the weekend, that they will win tomorrow morning at 3:05. There's just something different about this team. Ezra Mann is coming back. I don't think he's in full form yet, but he's a good contributor. We'll see what Sully Cabo does. I don't know if he comes off the bench or not in the interchange, but this is a team that can go all the way, and I am so excited. So there you go. I know we're over on time, but
we're
I had to
very
get
over,
it
but
out.
that's okay. 615-737-1025 is our phone number if you want to give us your thoughts on the Brisbane Broncos, I guess. Coming up next, the poll results are in. We will react to the weekend poll results of our question. If Diego Pavia goes out and beats Vanderbilt, let me restart that. If Diego Pavia and Vanderbilt go out and beat Alabama today, what does that do for Diego Pavia's Heisman race contendency? Does that put him at the forefront of conversations? The Commodores will take on Alabama today. Pregame begins at 1 p.m. on 94.9 The Fan with kickoff at 2:30 p.m. Vanderbilt football brought to you by Gary Force Acura, Jimmy Kelly Steakhouse, and Smoky Mountain Tops. We will discuss Vanderbilt and Alabama coming up next on hour number 2 on the Weekend Huddle here on 102.5 The Game. in crimson red ink. They're out. I'll use an Adam Vingan term. They're out for bloodlust. They are ready for it today.
Yeah, and even if Vandy, I'm not trying to be negative, but even if they come out and lose by, let's say, one possession or something like that, or just 2-3 points, that still puts them on the map even more.
Yeah.
than they currently are.
Well, I would argue they win this game today and LSU wins out for the next 2 weeks. We're looking at a possible college game day over on West End.
Mm-hmm.
And I will do everything in my power, and you will do everything in your power to be out there live and do this show from there with special guest Pat McAfee.
That'd be awesome.
He wouldn't do it.
Jay Cutler.
He'd be a little. Oh, I don't think we want Jay Cutler right now.
Oh.
He may be a little bit preoccupied at,
Okay.
the moment.
I need to start reading.
Dustin in Hopkinsville says Pavia Palooza.
Yes, that's
That's the one.
Just like old school. You ever see it?
With Will Ferrell?
Yeah. It had
We're going
Palooza.
drinking.
Yeah. One of the signs said, I think it was Mike Palooza, I think is what it was. Yeah.
It's like Wrestle Palooza,
Yeah.
which was on ESPN a couple weeks ago, and it was below average.
Yeah. Pavia Palooza.
Pavia Palooza.
Good one, Dustin.
I love
You're on
that.
a good roll today.
Yeah. Dustin and I have become very close over the past couple times I've been on the air. We just seem to click right now.
Yeah.
And we've had a little bit of disagreements in the past, but right now we're on the same page. So
Love that.
credit to Dustin. I love Commodore Commotion, though.
Commodore Commotion, Pavia Palooza. We'll have to put these on some
Pavia
t-shirts.
Party.
Pavia Party.
Yeah, we should.
There you go.
Let's file some copyrights with the University of Vanderbilt.
I want to get to something real quick, Connor, before we go to break.
Sure.
We talked about earlier with Pavia's Heisman case, and we were talking during the break about this.
Yeah.
If John Mateer is the front runner for this right now, and you look at Pavia's stats, comparing it to his, Pavia has 126 passing completions, okay?
Mhm.
And Mateer has 141. Pavia has 15 less. So the fact that he's doing that, but then you look at the passing yards, 1,211, Mateer 1,215. He only has 4 more than Pavia. But remember, this is in less attempts. And you look at the completion rating at 74.6, Mateer at 67.4. Passing touchdowns for Mateer is 6, Pavia 13. I get it. He's played some teams that are not as great, but he's taking care of business. He's stat padding as he should.
Yeah.
You look at interceptions, Pavia's thrown 3. You look at Mateer, he's thrown 3. But in those 3 interceptions, Pavia's thrown in, I think it was what? Against Virginia Tech, against South Carolina, against Utah State. So that'd be the 3 teams that have more of a competitive edge to them in regards to Charleston Southern and Georgia State, right?
Mhm.
So then you keep looking down. You look at rushing yards because you think, oh, you don't need rushing yards to win the Heisman, right? Nay. With Diego Pavia,
No.
48 carries for 294 yards, averaging 6.1 yards per carry, 2 rushing touchdowns on the season. You look at Mateer, yes, he has 5 rushing touchdowns. I get all that. 43 rushing attempts on 190 yards. So Pavia has over 104 yards more than Mateer does and 5 more carries. So it goes to show you that the system that Clark Lee runs under Diego Pavia is multifaceted where Pavia can stat pad against bad teams and good teams at the same time. And remember, South Carolina, they may not be panning out now, but they were 11th ranked team in the nation at the time. So you have to give a little credit to that when you look at a high-profile resume.
I think resume right now does not look good. Virginia Tech is one of the worst teams in FBS football right now.
True.
South Carolina, you impressively went in, blew them out on the road, but you could make the case it's because they were without their Heisman preseason favorite, Lenora Sellers, at quarterback. I don't subscribe to that idea. I mean, I do for a little bit because I think the resume is not there, but the results are.
Right.
They've blown teams out. They've gone on the road to a tough environment in Columbia, South Carolina, and just completely drained that stadium. They have produced results. I think if they go out and get a resume win today against Alabama for the second year in a row, then we start to talk about the resume because we're getting to the meat and potatoes of their schedule.
Mm-hmm.
Alabama, LSU, got to go on the road to Texas, play Missouri, play the ultimate team of all college football in Kentucky, the toughest game on your entire schedule.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you go to Neyland Stadium to play Tennessee. We're in SEC play, which is the meat and potatoes of every SEC school's season. But it's a matter of, can they capitalize on what they need to do. And I think that starts today at Alabama.
Yeah, absolutely. I just think there is a true case for Pavia to be a Heisman candidate, because if we're looking at stats, and again, I get that the teams they've played have not been great, but the fact that Pavia is putting up large numbers like this and is comparing it to John Mateer, and Mateer's out for 2 to 3 weeks, 3 to 4 weeks for his hand injury, this only strengthens the case for Pavia, even if they lose today.
Quickly, let's go back to our Wilson County Hyundai phone lines. Welcome in our good friend Dustin in Hopkinsville. Dustin, what's up?
Oh, man, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to call y'all butt dial.
Oh,
I'm just kidding. Hey, man, I just wanted to holler at all the Vandy fans. As a UK fan, like, I couldn't be happier for all these Vandy fans,
preach.
the school, and because we have nothing to live for at UK other than basketball, and sometimes Tennessee beats us. But we'll talk about that another day.
Right.
But, you know, I just wanted to say, you know, to all the papaws who didn't want the NIL and all this, SEC has been the big dog and still really are overall if you count how many teams are just year in, year out good. But the Big Ten has something to say. The ACC, a lot of people do. But no matter what happens tonight, just be humble. Be humble, enjoy the win, embrace the loss. Every time something bad happens to me, something later, I learn a lesson and something good comes out of it. Tonight, if you lose, it's not the end of the world. Just let's hope that Vandy goes out there and puts on a damn dogfight. But without this NIL, like, what would you even have? Like, this has made college football so much better overall. These guys, you know, some of them came from nothing. And I'll say it like this, you know, the streets, the ghetto, and they're out here, great kids living for something. They go out there and break an ankle and can never play again. Like, these guys deserve to be paid. And it's done nothing but make college sports overall better, because the more teams you don't go out and just dog walk a bunch of teams all the time. You want to go out and be competitive. And I think it's great. And I love that Vandy is getting this much recognition. And Trey was right. They're gonna be on the map more. They are on the map. But if they win today, buddy, look out. Vandy's going to have kids lining up left and right. They're going to be talked about. Pat McAfee's going to be jumping off the tables and stuff on the show. So just be humble and embrace the win. And y'all be careful with all you partying tonight and you know, have some designated drivers and don't get too carried away. Y'all have a good one.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Dustin. I love Dustin. I think he thinks that I am Jake Lyman and that we beefed over. Do you remember the Savannah Bananas versus Nashville Sounds debate? I was on Jake's side for that, but it was Jake and Dustin getting into it.
Oh, boy.
That was a time. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. Last call for your thoughts on Vanderbilt and Alabama. Coming up next, the duel of the century. Nick Frazier up 1-0 all time on me. And where are they now duels? We will do battle once more. Coming up next here on the Weekend Huddle here on 102.5 The Game. Weekend Huddle here on 102.5 The Game. Final segment of the day. Connor Newton, Nick Frazier here with you. Breaking down Alabama and Vanderbilt. Quickly, let's head to our phone lines. Driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com before we get into Where Are They Now, and welcome in Eric. Eric, go ahead.
Hey, guys, I'm going to try and make this short and sweet and real quick. Guys, I definitely think Vanderbilt has a shot today. It would not shock me if they do go down there and win, and I definitely think if they win, Tavia will be a serious Heisman candidate, and also they'll definitely be ranked in the top 10. I think you can book that. But I will say this, with the whole NIL and transfer portal thing, I definitely think it's benefited Vanderbilt in football, and it's benefited a lot of downtrodden programs. I think it has hurt them, though, in baseball, because Tim Corbin, I know, is not necessarily a big fan of it. I still think they're going to be good. But also another thing that I didn't think about until somebody pointed out this past week, even though overall SEC Pod has more teams ranked in the top 25, it appears that the Big Ten may be now the better conference because they've won the national championship the last 2 years. And the two best programs right now are Ohio State and Oregon, which is the Big Ten, with all the NIL and transfer portal things. So it's kind of been this shift. Whether or not it will stay that way, I don't know. But I think the whole NIL and transfer portal bill has changed the landscape where the SEC probably won't be dominated as much as they were before. Guys, it's always good to talk to you. Y'all take care, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Thank you, Eric. Thank you for the call. Yeah, to his point, I don't know if I personally would pick Vanderbilt to win this game. I think Alabama is going to backdoor cover on some level. They're favored by 10.5 right now. I think they get a late touchdown to extend it to 14, and they win 38-24. That's just me, but Vanderbilt fans, you have reason to be excited. Let's get into the duel. Where are they now? Quickly refreshing the rules. 5 players. The first three are in North America. The final 2 are anywhere in the world. 1 point for league, 2 points for exact team. Are we ready?
Yes.
Nick Frazier, you defeated me last week. You go first.
Okay. A 2019 national championship has on the resume here, a USFL championship in 23. Where is Randy Moss's son, Thaddeus Moss?
Oh my goodness. I forgot he played football. I'll say he's still in the UFL.
Okay.
Playing for the St. Louis Battlehawks.
Incorrect. He's playing in the Canadian Football League for the Hamilton Tiger Cats.
What a name.
Yeah.
Interesting.
The Hamilton Tiger Cats.
All right. So no points for me there. Former St. Louis Cardinals closer.
Ooh.
Mexican legend. Giovanni Gallegos.
Oh.
Where is that horrible, horrible closer?
Yeah, he blew a lot of saves for the Cardinals a couple years ago. Giovanni Gallegos is playing in AA baseball for the San Francisco Giants organization.
He is playing in AAA baseball for the team just across the pond, the Los Angeles Dodgers organization. He's playing for the Oklahoma City Comets.
Can't believe I missed that one.
So nodded at nada.
All right. Next one I have here is still in baseball. Former Vandy pitcher Kyle Wright. Where is pitcher Kyle Wright playing baseball now?
Kyle Wright.
Former Atlanta Brave.
Former Brave, yes. I'll say he's in AAA for the Miami Marlins. So that would be the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp.
So close. AA for the Northwest Arkansas Naturals.
Who's that an affiliate of?
I'd have to check for you. It doesn't say. It is an affiliate of. Doesn't say. So it's some AAA affiliate with the Bisons. So I don't know.
Regardless,
the Buffalo Bisons AA. I don't know.
Regardless,
not a AAA.
No
team.
points there.
No points. Back to you.
Former Los Angeles Laker, Denver Nugget, Orlando Magic player, Kentavious Caldwell Pope, who a lot of people hate for some reason, and I don't really understand it.
Kentavious Caldwell Pope is still in the NBA and is playing for the Los Angeles Lakers.
He is in the NBA.
Okay.
You got to study up on your local players because he is just west of us playing for the Memphis Grizzlies.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. Was he in a trade recently for that?
I think he was a free agent acquisition.
Okay. Because he was playing for the Lakers recently, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So you're up 1-0.
Okay. This one here is back to football.
Okay.
Quarterback Luis Perez went to the University of Texas A&M Commerce and was with the Los Angeles Chargers in 2024. Where is quarterback Luis Perez?
I don't know.
Oh, you know this guy if you saw him.
Yeah, I probably would. He's in the UFL for the Michigan Panthers.
You get a point. He is in the UFL
All right.
for the Arlington Renegades.
Okay.
So tied at 1 apiece. Back to you.
Okay. So we are going beyond North America, tied 1-1. The greatest Nashville Predator with the last name Weber of all time. Former Predators defenseman, Yannick Weber.
Yannick Weber. Yannick Weber. Where are you, Yannick Weber? Tell me where you're at in my brain. Yannick Weber is playing in, I'm going to go Yugoslavia.
What a pull. What's the team?
The Yugoslavian Snakes.
He's playing in Switzerland, back in his home country for the ZSC Lions. I don't know what ZSC stands for, but he's playing for the Lions.
Sure, it's important.
Yeah, it's probably great.
First on my international list here, going to soccer. American midfielder Tyler Adams. Where is American midfielder Tyler Adams playing soccer currently?
I feel like every time we have an American soccer player playing overseas, he's playing in Germany for Bayern Munich.
Tyler Adams is not playing in Germany for Bayern Munich. He used to play in Germany for RB Leipzig.
Of course he did.
Now he plays for currently Premier League side Bournemouth. So
I did not know that existed.
yeah, Bournemouth. So
What country?
that is England.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Back to you.
Former Kentucky Wildcat. Married to a former Kentucky Wildcat volleyball player, Madison Lilly. Where is white chocolate Nate Sestina?
What sport again?
Basketball.
Basketball. I'm going to go Spain, playing for the Real Madrid.
He is in Spain.
Let's go.
Playing for the Valencia Baskets.
Valencia Baskets. Oh, well, good name.
So 2-1 lead. I got to get something here to
All
at least
right.
extend it.
This may be a gift to you, but I'm going with something obvious, maybe not so obvious. One of the greatest soccer players of all time, Cristiano Ronaldo, the Portuguese soccer player.
Oh, I know the country. I don't know.
Where is Cristiano Ronaldo playing soccer currently?
He's playing in Saudi Arabia
Okay.
for the Camels.
He is playing in Saudi Arabia for El Nassr. So
I knew it was Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
Want to hear something crazy?
Sure.
I accidentally skipped my third person
Oh,
in North America. And I think you did too.
I'll do it. No, I had all three.
Okay.
Kyle Wright, Luis Perez, and the first one, which was Thaddeus Moss.
Did we do Thaddeus Moss?
Yeah, that was my first one.
Oh. Well, I'll give you mine.
Okay.
Where is former Mississippi State enemy, Ole Miss running back, Snoop Connor?
Snoop Connor. Ooh. I'm going to go UFL, playing for the Houston Roughnecks.
He is technically in the NFL, on the practice squad for the Dallas Cowboys.
So close.
So we're not at 2. We'll just exchange a tiebreaker here. Is that how we're going to do it? I
Yeah.
know we're over, but it's fine.
Go ahead.
Okay. Let me just pull one out of my rear end here. Denver Nuggets. This is basketball, obviously. Denver Nuggets, New York Knicks, Oklahoma City Thunder, Chicago Bulls, Houston Rockets, Los Angeles Lakers, and I think that's it.
Danilo Gallinari.
It is Carmelo Anthony.
Okay. Now to you. College, East Carolina University. Was a NFL Offensive Player of the Year in 2009. Played for the Titans, Jets, and Cardinals.
Chris Johnson.
Bingo.
CJ2K.
I figured you'd get that after I
Yeah.
said Eastern Carolina University. But
Yes.
but yeah, looks like you've won.
We have won. So
you have won. I have not won.
the all-time series,
1-1.
1-1. And we will resume next week. That's going to do it for us here today on the Weekend Huddle. Enjoy Vanderbilt, Alabama. That game coming up. Pregame starting at 1 over on 94.9 The Fan. Preds preseason puck drop at 2 today. Pregame will begin at 1 as well. But for Nick Frazier, for Jake Wellman behind the glass, I'm Connor Newt saying so long. We'll see you next week right here on the Weekend Huddle here on 102.5 The Game.
See ya.